Good morning, good evening, and good day. Thank you so much for watching AtkPwr Gaming. Today we're diving into Game 3 of the semifinals of the July monthly between me and Protoss. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button, subscribe, and consider joining me on Patreon to improve at Steel Division 2 through Discord, replay review, and coaching. Thanks a bunch. Let's dive right in. So first things first here, we are on Slutsk. Yeah, I actually like this map. I think it's pretty solid. There's some open ground down here, but it's not like Slutsk West where half the map is open. The flags are relatively fair. I think red has the tougher side somewhat because you got to hold this flag. But on the flip side, if you can push blue off this hill, like blue's completely kind of screwed. So, you know, there's definitely some push and pull on this map, but I think it's relatively fair for many of the asymmetrical maps. I think this one's not too shabby. For this match, I picked first. No, I picked second. Yes, I picked second. Protoss picked 8th Indian. Great pick. Did not remember to ban this one, but there's a lot to ban on these maps because big heavy tank divisions can do quite well. So, you know, I'm always afraid of those. But he picked 8th Indian, which is a very good division. So great pick on his part. He picked V for Victory, which was an interesting pick, but not surprising since I picked Balanced for my income. And then I played 26th Panzer, which, yeah, I thought had the tools I needed to kind of dominate the open ground, especially against 8th Indian. He definitely can't go pound for pound with my tanks. His only real response is, you know, those wonderful 17 pounders. So let's dive into some deck lists here. On screen, we have Protoss with his 8th Indian deck. Nothing like super out of the ordinary. One thing to note, he did put one of his Gurkha rifles in C to really like give him a lot of C phase infantry. But he is vetting across the board basically, except for the field engineers, which he's bringing in B, which I also think is kind of odd, but you get 18 of them then. So there's a lot of these little dudes running around in B phase for sure. Usual tank tab, usual support tab, a lot of 17 pounders. You can see he's definitely responding to that issue, which I knew he would. Like 8, he's got 10 total 17 pounders. So basically he'll never run out of 17 pounders. And against me, they never miss. You know how it works, right? You all see me play. Against these stupid guns, they always seem to hit. The usual artillery tab, these really efficient 114 millimeter artillery guns, really, really good. And you're, you know, actually a pretty light, overall pretty light air tab. Not a ton of fighters, 1 card of the Hurricanes, a couple bombers, you know, nothing too crazy. Good division though, really well rounded, really no significant weaknesses out of this division for sure. And then hopping over to my deck, 26th Panzer. I do like this division. It doesn't see as much play for me as I'd like it to, but it's pretty well rounded. I think it's a step down from 20th. I like it more than 20th Panzer. They play very similarly, but I do think 20th does a little bit better. So great recon tab. I basically used up all the infantry I could. All they have left are a couple Pioneer cards and stuff, and that's not really moving the needle on this map. Not a lot of Pioneer usage here because it's very open, so your longer range infantry are more important. Tank tab, I kind of wanted to get that one last card and just couldn't find the spot. Needed that Guerrilla, and I really wanted to use the Flampanzer here because I thought I could really do some work up on the hill. Jagdpanzer 4 is going to really lean on those because they're basically invincible to Shermans, so they should be able to brawl. AA tab, basically all you got to use there. The FAMO should be quite good because I know that Protoss is going to use a lot of artillery to try to kill my AA, so I can move it, and that's the benefit of this AA tab. And that was part of what I was thinking of when I picked this. Really great artillery tab. It's super expensive, so you can't take much. So I decided to take the Werfraum and the mortars to kind of just kill off his AA and stuff, so I could use some of my air stuff. I brought a lot of fighters, thinking that he was going to bring a lot of that Commonwealth air. So yeah, those are the decks. Let's dive in here to the spoiler. If you don't want to know the spoiler, please skip now to the time indicated below. 5, 4, 3, 2, and spoiler. So unfortunately, this game does not go as I hoped it would. It's a good game. I mean, buckle in. It really goes back and forth. And at the beginning, it seems like I'm doing really well, as it often does. I seem to open games really well and just slowly peter out as I go. He does a huge push at the top and almost knocks me off the hill, and I'm able to push him all the way back through. But I'm not really able to take much ground. I'm able to hold it, and eventually I just run out of troops, really. I mean, when it really comes down, it's not that long a game that I'm like totally out, but it gets to a point where he just overwhelms me with his 20-point infantry. He's just got so much on the field. My infantry is significantly more expensive, and it's just not trading well enough with him. So yeah, I don't think I made any significant mistakes. I'm sure as we watch here, there will definitely be mistakes, you know, micro mistakes and things, but there was nothing in this game that I felt like, wow, I really, really screwed the pooch on this one. I really dropped the ball. You know, I just couldn't get it to come together. Maybe if I had pushed a little bit in different places, I could have pulled something off, but this one, Protoss just outplayed me, and I think his division lined up a little bit better than mine for this map. But yeah, so if you're back and you didn't watch that spoiler, here we go. Let's dive in. This is a great one, so buckle in. A lot of back and forth, and it can go any way. Every time. I'm going to do that every time. So opening plan here. Just want to get into this town, and my goal is really to push him off of this hill. I am sending a good chunk of troops down here because I'm afraid of some sort of big push down here, which is very possible with his faster jeeps, because remember, he's just the faster division than me. My hearses can get into position, but barely, along with my BMWs. And he does have a whole bunch of these jeeps coming in, so it's very important for me to get to that front line. One thing I did forget to do is bring in some more SDKFZs, like the autocannon recon. That was definitely a mistake. They could have been really effective here at the beginning, but I just totally forgot to bring them in. Flammenwerfer, Assault Pioneer down here. I do unload first, but unfortunately, well, he does finally shoot. I catch him out, and this should be a pretty quick, with the machine guns and stuff that I got here, should be an easy wipe. He does make a push down here, like I was afraid he would. So luckily, I do have some troops down here, so it's not totally empty. And the guerrilla here will help me out as well. So I'm going to lose my MG42, but rebuff that little push down there. Here we meet a lot of assault engineers, but I sent the whole 9 yards here. 2 Beretta, Slutsk, which easily erase these guys. God, Berettas are just so stinking good. Flammenwerfer, unfortunately, a little too weak to take out this Indian leader. Pack 40, taking some pop shots at the scouts up there on the hill. It is helpful because they're double-starred scouts, so they do a lot of damage. They really suppress quickly. Got my Flampanzer 3 and my Panzer 3L coming in as well, along with some more Articards, another Flampanzer here to try to take the advantage at the beginning. This SDKFZ, I feel very safe driving this up because I know he doesn't really have any AT, so I'll be able to take this out momentarily, and that'll be re-grabbed. Let's hop back up here. Now, early A phase off map, dirty. Very dirty. Very dirty, and a good place to use it on this map. Because I kind of have to be concentrated up here in this top front section. There's not a lot of choice. I do take out some Indian assault troops here. Again, these Social Brothers are just so strong. Off maps are coming down. Now, luckily, I do have some armor in here, so I'm not completely defenseless. The off map's not a super heavy off map. Do get the nice crew kill, but he gets a bailed out. So, yeah. Not a great trade for me because I really need this thing to counter his Sherman. Flampanzer did go down, unfortunately, to the rifle's Piat. Oh, no, yeah, right there. There it goes. So, that's a loss there. And, of course, now I'm on the back foot. Not a lot I could do against the... in the face of the off-map, though. Bring in more Panzer 3, because I need to be able to stop this. And I know he doesn't have a lot of armor, and I haven't actually seen this Sherman yet, so I will see it now. I will be spotted at this point, but the Panzer 3 can absolutely take on that Sherman. 2 of them do wonderfully. Like I said, finally going to find and finish off this Assault Pioneer. 17 pound in this position basically stops me from using any, like, armor at all. Panzer 3 in Overwatch position. SDKFZ supplying some machine gun fire. These are useful for 5 points, especially the recon version here. It can be really nice. Maybe it's 10 points. I'm not sure off the top of my head. AtkPwr in the church tower to keep an eyeball and stuff. Bringing this Flampanzer in to try to like push into his part of the town. Unfortunately, though, he does have this 75mm autocar. These are quite solid. I do enjoy these. They're pretty good. Second off map coming down, blocking off my reinforcements, but luckily it's not actually hitting very much. I have another Panzer III coming in because I know I need to kill this Sherman. This thing is going to be a brick wall. Every time I play against Sherman, I just seem to struggle like nobody's beeswax. Lost the autocar here to his autocar. So that was lost. He already called in a 114mm gun here. But he kind of has to. With the V for victory, he's got the points advantage here at the beginning to try to establish, because then it's really up to me to make progress in B phase. Guerrilla moving forward, trying to take out this stuff here in this little complex. I do stop just before the 17 round. Now that's a coincidence, not a great play. Rifles Piat able to reach out to my Ersatztruppen. And of course, at the moment, I have nothing armed to kill this Sherman. And finally, I have a Panzer III coming in. This Flampanzer III, though, is not the tool for the job. Luckily, it gets out of sight in time. This Panzer III moves by too quick. Sherman taking shots at my 190. Good bombing run. Does some good damage. Suppresses. Panzer III in position here to support. Flammenwerfer. Flampanzer, I mean, moving up to get some of these infantry. Spitfire trying to catch it. It won't be able to. Panzer III, unfortunately, spotted over here. I don't notice this. I'm too busy microing up north. So that's going to go down to the 17-pounder. This, another off map, and he's able to surrender two things. Luckily, a bounce and another hit, and the Sherman goes down by my Panzer III. So that was very fortuitous. Unfortunate to lose my leader, specifically. The other thing was an Ersatztruppen, which I didn't really care about. His Spitfire actually is able to fall back my Panzer III, which is really annoying. It does get off. No, it does not get off the hill in time. So I really got the bone there. Boston Mark IV coming in. Very amazingly, my AtkPwr still has not been found. My Flampanzer, though, has been by the Sherman here. Does get off a little flame there. It's not going to do much. My Sagittario, very good fighter. This is key to me trying to shoot down some of these Bostons. I think it should match up relatively well to the Spitfires. I'm able to micro it out of the way here. Panzer III takes out the Sherman. So these are really turning out well because, again, Sherman's 80 points, I believe. Yeah, 80 points, and those Panzer IIIs are 40. So those are some huge kills for me to trade those. Very happy with that. Sagittario trying to get on the back of this Spitfire. Unfortunately, the AI decides that turning back the opposite direction would be the smart thing to do at that point. And the Spitfire is able to get quite far away. He's bringing in a Bofors now to wrest control. It's 13-11, which is not too bad because, honestly, I mean, he's got way more points than me at the moment. Sherman 5 now going to machine gun at my Sagittario. Sagittario. My bad. Panzer III now, though. Big boy in the street. Sherman has died. Most of the Piats are back here, so I can use this pretty aggressively to actually support my troops. Somehow this thing became smoking from these 50 cals. Apparently they're doing pretty well. Killed this Maxim, so brought it back to a 12-12. I'm not sure why I still have this flying around. Apparently I'm feeling very ballsy. Coming in to support my troops, I guess, and I finally decided to retreat it. Notice the smoking tail on that thing. Erzat's moving up. 13-11 actually now. Between this capture and now killing that machine gun on the hill, I grabbed this as well, but that's not going to last. That 17-pounder will recapture this pretty quickly. Guerrilla still just kind of fire positioning here. Fortunately, he's got this 17-pounder moving position, and it will eventually pick up that kill. Assault Pioneers able to hold off my Panzer Grenadiers. Artillery is beginning. Not even counting the off maps I already got hit with. Now, the only bonus of this now is this is done already, so like I don't have to worry about any more off maps. That's the only off map the 8th Indian has. So at least that's a plus. Grilla is still fire positioning here, which is obviously a micro mistake on my part. That was a 1 health Panzergrenadier. He goes down. Erzatz coming in, along with a Stug 42, M42, and another Panzer III. I'm hoping to use my armor to bully him a little bit. This is actually his 3rd Sherman already, so, and his 4th. So that's all his Shermans in Phase A. So it won't be any more Shermans for a little bit. Really actually need this Erzatz trooping to live because he's capturing this point. Here's the 17-pounder taking shots. Actually misses the first shot. I can't believe it. That is extremely rare. But unfortunately, again, he's still on fire position and immediately dies on the second hit. SDKFZ's bullying up his infantry, and this is what was my plan when I picked 26th. 8th Indian doesn't have a ton of AT infantry. I mean, it does, but it's Piats, and Piats are bad. And truthfully, you want to be using the Indian infantry, the Indian rifles, and the Indian Gurkhas and stuff. So, like, using regular rifle Piats is really, like, kind of, like, lame. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels very lame. Yeah. So, my plan was this exactly. Erzatz just swarming. But they're in a building and all I have are rifles, so damage is slow. But I am able to take that one out. Already coming down on my tanks here. Tanks firing down on the town to kill this Vickers, which is just annoying shooting me. 6-pounder coming in. Those will be annoying. I wish I would have remembered to set up some sort of AT gun right here. Pack 40 is about to go down here. MG42 getting pushed out of the forest. Do have a Pack 40 up here now, but unfortunately with the Vickers, he will be able to basically fight me back. And of course, I'm right on the edge of that range there on that machine gun. So that's really annoying. But it is 13-11. I'm actually bleeding him, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Do have the Stug 42s pushing back this auto car, but Protoss is right on the micro. Do lose an Erzatz troop in here, not a big deal. More Assault Pioneers getting pinned. My tanks are doing good work here. I'm able to, you know, do some damage to these units. Take out that auto car, very helpful because the recon does help him a bunch, and it's a pretty good fire support. Thing is, I don't really have much in the town to push with. Otherwise, I probably should have made a concerted push here, and I might have done pretty well. Lots of Erzatz. We're finally in Phase B, so I have a little bit more real infantry, but I'm bringing in more tanks because I'm trying to bully him with my armor, which so far has been working relatively well. Unfortunately, now got in 2 field engineers in here, so these Erzatz troopers are not long for this world, along with support from the Sherman, so it's going to be a tough live there. Tough life. Up here, I'm kind of held up for the time being because my infantry are not going to be able to beat his infantry up close right now. Rifles aren't very good, but they're good enough to beat me in that position. And this is what I need to be pushing. I have the advantage in points here by a significant margin. He already has 2 artillery pieces. Boston and Hurricane coming in. 190 and my fighter coming in as well. Re-aim my Fuckerwolf at the bomber, and I do successfully kill that with the second pass. Definitely worth it. Whatever I was going to bomb wasn't as important as killing that. But unfortunately now the Hurricane comes in and does kill off one of my Panzer IIIs, and those are really important to me. They're actually, you know, really giving me a lot of value, and they're my best weapon at close range like this. Sagittario, unfortunately I retreated. I mean, it wouldn't have gotten around anyway, but this Hurricane does survive, and that's going to bite me later. SDKFZ 71. SDKFZ 251 trying to take out that HMG, does succeed and starts pinging down those Indian rifles. Artillery continues to drop. Fortunately, Sherman does appear, kills my half-track there. Did get a lot of work out of that, though. Erzatz down here has retreated. We're back to a 12-12, which is where Protoss wants to be. You know, if I can't really reestablish myself here in Phase B, it's going to be trouble. Did move up this Panzerschreck, hoping he would push a little more aggressively with this Sherman. These are my best weapons against these things because the Shermans really dominate at close range. Panzer IIIs are my best response because I can actually trade them relatively well. Stug 42 actually gets a penetration there. Next one's a bounce, unfortunately, but I am firing pretty quick here. See if we can't get that kill. Even on the side armor, we get a bounce. Really bad luck. But finally, do land that final hit. Big kill for me. These are not actually great Sherman killers by any stretch, even up close. I did position a Panzer IV here to try to stop any more reinforcements coming up this road. Recapture this, bring it back to a 12-12, and now I have some half-decent infantry to actually push forward with. Panzer III moving forward as well to try to give some support. This 6-pounder is waiting for me, though. Spot the Indian rifle there. Bring up another guerrilla, which unfortunately is likely not going to last very long. Something killed the 17-pounder over here. Maybe it was one of my bombers, I think. Maybe he moved it? No, I don't think so. Something killed it. He positioned a 17-pounder on this road here, so that kind of cuts off my reinforcements for the time being there. Trying to kill off my pack with his artillery, and he probably will succeed. Fortunately, that 6-pounder does take a shot at my Panzer III, does wound the loader. Panzergrenz doing some good work. It's nice to have some like really functional infantry now that I'm done with the ersatz. Another Panzer III coming in with another Stug 42. Really got to retake this hill. If I get pushed off this, I will lose, without a doubt. So I cannot lose this. MG-34s, solid weapons, but definitely not the strength of the MG-42s, of course. Guerrilla taking some shots again. I put him on fire position thinking there was a dude hidden in there. Unfortunately, he positioned another 17-pounder much closer, so this guerrilla goes down pretty quickly. Pack 40 can't move out because the Vickers will pin it down. Two 190s coming in. Bombing those infantry. I really got to get them out of there. His own artillery, I think, kills his unit there. He's got a little rifle Piat hiding down here. I thought it was in this woods, but it was down here in this weird gully. Another Panzer III in to pin this rifle here. More infantry coming in for me now. Do have some AtkPwr coming in to spot a little bit over here. Ersatz Truman did survive. I need to keep it hidden behind here to keep it alive. Still 12-12 though, and we're already coming up onto C phase really quickly, and my advantage will be gone. Luckily, he was using APCR, so my Panzer III gets out of there, lives to fight another day. I mean, it's damaged to heck, but it'll still alive. Can't believe I didn't unload this. This is very odd for me to not unload something. Finally get another leader up here. Finally gets him unloaded. And he is looking quite thin up top, which is good. That's what I need. Artillery, a third piece has come in now. These are very efficient. Pretty cheap for 114mm artillery. And it's just a constant bombardment, which I knew was coming. But unfortunately, the thing with 26 is I really don't have much heavy artillery. A Hummel would be the heaviest thing I'd have, but I only get 2. I can only bring in 2 in B phase. And I just didn't think that was going to do the job. Decided to get really aggressive with my SDKFZ. Unfortunately, he does have Gurkha rifles here. And they miss with their Gammon bomb, which is incredible. But they do land the second one. Or something does. Or maybe, I don't know. I think he missed with his like mini grenade and killed with the Gammon bomb. I don't know. Point is, it's dead. Panzergrenz, it's not a bad fight. But with the Gurkha rifles, it's going to get a little tough. 2-on-1 is always bad. Artillery, like I said, just constantly falling. It's just picking all the time. He's making a little push into the town. Nothing significant. I was able to fight force off. No, I didn't force this off yet. I will later. All quiet down south. We're both quite focused on the micro up here in the north. Artillery coming in now to pin my troops here. I have an SDKFZ 7-1 coming in to start to actually give myself some AA cover. I did get some key kills there, but you know, it's definitely still the air power there. 17-pounder, I don't know about this. Luckily I don't really drive anything down this road, but that's a nasty little spot there. Never knew that was a thing. Sagittario does take something down, or maybe that was one of mine. Who knows? Hard to say. But considering my Sagittario is flying around, I'm going to assume that I killed one of his. I think it was the Spitfire flying around. Sagittarios are really, really good. Which is one of the reasons, again, I picked the division because I needed a strong anti-air force to stop his. So I've been able to reestablish myself quite successfully on this hill. I probably should have been more aggressive, which is often a problem of mine. But I'm back on the hill and I'm overwhelming. It's an overwhelming firepower to his, so hopefully I'm still able to push him off. C-Phase is a coming around here. Bring in my commander. I decide I need to start really pumping my dudes up to get the advantage. Star up. Veteran up. Oh, he did move the Piat into this position. Okay, I thought that happened. I had figured that happened. This just Vicker spam is so annoying. Artillery continues to just pick and pick and pick at me. Big force he gathered over here. But I do have a fair chunk of troops over here. I'm definitely not defenseless. I put the MG42 in a pretty good spot that the Sherman can't shoot at it, and anything that comes around will get attacked by it. Same with the PAC-40, so it's not sticking out to be shot at by the supporting troops over here. Fortunately, Panzergrens get pinned down by the Gurkha rifles, but I do have 2 more squads coming up here. Panzer III sitting out here. No idea that the 17-pounder is there. Not sure what I'm looking at in the meantime. Big loss for me, like I said. That is, especially with this Sherman here, those are key to me surviving these Shermans. And I'm running out of them. I have my first Wurfrahmen coming in, 280 mil. 2 190s coming in. Try to take out some of these Vickers. Unfortunately, the Bofor wall is real. Second one does get the bomb off, though. And unfortunately does not kill it, though. It's able to fall back, which reduces its damage. Luckily, this Bofors is kind of out of position, so it didn't get to keep firing on it, and I'm able to survive. Commander is in position now, pumping up specifically this SDKFZ 7-1. That was the main purpose of it. Along with, of course, giving the bonus to my Batterie 4 up here. 2 armored tanks. Concept here is to be able to overwhelm this Sherman 2-on-1. For some reason, I'm just sending the Panzer III forward because I want it to die, I guess. 12-12, and we are into C phase, so now we're both at max income, and he has a little bit more. It's not an important difference. The important part was that I missed my opportunity to really make tons of progress. I mean, it allowed me to get back on the hill. If he had been a more aggressive income, I would have been pretty screwed getting back on this hill. Wurfrahmen aiming up, I decided to try to hit this stuff, but I guess he saw me somehow? I'm not sure how. But in some way, he must have figured out that I had this Wurfrahmen coming, because he spread them out all of a sudden and sent his commander far away, because I was trying to take this out. So that was definitely a bummer. Panzer III Stug coming up here to try to take out this Sherman. Did get the loader wounded. Big crit for me, because that means he won't be able to shoot his second shot nearly as fast. Second one gets the gun jam, which is essentially death. Wurfrahmen coming in. Good kill, actually. I was decided to try to take out this 17-pounder, but the spread didn't really go in my favor, and he happened to be moving it. Otherwise, it would have died when it was standing right there where the rocket hit. Artillery already coming in, moving my SDKFZ to try to dodge some of that. Also have a mortar. MG42 doing what I was hoping it would do. PAC-40 unfortunately went down to the overwhelming MGs, which is bad because now the Sherman's coming. I do have a Panzer IV, though, I called in quite a while ago, which will not beat the Sherman at close range, unfortunately. That is the truth of it. I do have a nice little force on this ridge here, but there's not a lot they can do. And for some reason, the Sherman re-aims, giving the Panzer, re-aims, giving the Sherman, of course, the whatchamacallit, the first shot, and my Panzer dies. Frustration. But I am making good progress now. The Sherman in this tree line had died, so I was able to push forward with my infantry, which are definitely stronger than his at the moment. Will be moving forward my AtkPwr to give that 3-star juiciness to these guys. I am dodging the artillery quite well. Killing that spotter does help. It's a little less radar. I am retargeting my Werframen on this, putting some arty down on this 17-pounder because I need that to be dead so I can like move troops on the thing. Unfortunately, I did lose this little chunk here, which is definitely bad. More Panzer Grenadiers coming up north here because I sense weakness. I kill a Bofors with my Panzer Gren. Big kill for me to get rid of that. And now I'm in a nice position here, 13-11. Things are looking up, but this is a large attack coming in here. I do have these Slutsk, which are really quite deadly, so I should be able to beat some stuff, at least one squad here in the forest. I do have a Panzer IV coming for this as well, because I know that I can easily beat a Sherman with that. Panzer III moving up to try to cut off some of these reinforcements with the Hurricane coming in for it. He lost sight of me, luckily. AtkPwr in position to add some veterancy. He's on my bomber, and the bomber unfortunately goes down, actually mostly to the 50 cals. Really trying to get on the back of this Hurricane because I really need it to be dead. So I lost my bomber. There's a good chance here I'm going to lose my fighter. My AA is on. I call in another fighter, try to catch this bomber here. Panzer III in position here. Need it to start taking a shot at something. Unfortunately, the Sherman gets fixed up just in time and takes out my Panzer III. What unfortunate timing for me. Werframen firing again, I believe this time at this commander and 40mm. Let's see if we get some kills. He does see it coming. Dodges out of the way. Bofors is a lot. Oh, and it does get hit. Commander goes down. That's a big kill. That gets rid of all of that extra veterancy. Bofors somehow takes no damage at all. So it's definitely a great kill for me. Trying to move around this mortar so I can keep using it. Almost took out the 17-pounder. The most important thing is I got the 17-pounder off the road. Moved in a Panzergren to, you know, Panzerfaust can kill the Sherman if worse comes to worse. My Panzergren does get a sight on this Vickers, and I've basically broken down this attack, so that's pretty solid for me. Fortunately, he is getting back into this forest, but with all that, with the veterancy lost and his troops so bunched up here, my Panzergrens easily pin all of those guys. Have my Stug 42 moving up. Unfortunately, here comes the Sherman to spoil my fun. Sturm Pioneer did get back into here and is doing quite well at 3 stars. Panzer IV should be able to easily kill off this Sherman, so that's big game for me. Anytime I can kill a Sherman, it's a happy day. Commonwealth divisions have some of the units I hate most in the game. And not because they just seem to function so well against me and so poorly for me. Shermpio getting in there really quickly erases this leader, which is big because it also takes away the artillery like radarness here for the town, so that's really, really helpful. Continuing to move around my SDKF7s and things like that so they can't get artied. Su-42 unfortunately getting hit by that 17-pounder. Misses and goes down. Unfortunate loss. Probably shouldn't have lost that. He's already brought in some extra machine guns though. Panzer IV is too far back to do anything about that. Otherwise, I probably could have killed that quite easily. I did bring in this Sturm Pioneer to make sure he can't, like, position himself easily into this forest. 2-star Sturm Pioneers are actually quite good. I do not like them at 1-star. I don't think they're good enough. But at 2-star, they really start to be effective. I have to keep pouring infantry into here to try to hold this flag, but unfortunately now, with this Sherman cresting the hill. Luckily for me, though, it is stuck on the depression thing, but unfortunately with this wall of Gurkhas coming, I am forced to fall back before I'm able to take more shots at this Sherman. Really unfortunate for me. Trying to take out that leader rifle with my Panzergrens. Can I do it? Unfortunately, no. His infantry get there in time to kind of stop my fire. 17-pounder magically has sight on me. Don't you love it when lines of sight don't exist, but they still exist? Focke-Wulf comes in. hits those Gurkhas. Unfortunately, though, my Stuke 42 is not long for this world. Sherman does go down, though, so that's a big kill for me. Again, keeping those Shermans out of my zone is really important. 13-11. I do have the ticket advantage. If I can hold on, I will win at 50 minutes. Panzer IV goes down to this 17-pounder. I still can't understand what's going on, but I think at this point I finally figured it out. He's got a lot of infantry, and this is where his 20-point infantry really start to show. That every time he's calling in infantry, it is like a quarter of the price as of mine. Not a quarter, half. My infantry are 35 points with the half track. So, you know, it does start to show here. AtkPwr 4 goes down to the Hurricane, which is impressive considering the Hurricane shouldn't have anywhere near the penetration power, but it did the job. Bofors catches my Sagittario. Immediately retreat that. 2 mortars in now. Werframen getting reloaded. It's done good work. I've killed a number of things, including that 17-pounder on the road, but I think that was the that was actually the mortar. Panzergren's there to try to hold off this wave of Gurkha rifles. Unfortunately, I did not kill off that leader. He could have moved this one up, but I did feel like I was making good progress killing off leaders. With this SDKFZ here, again, this is why I bring these in, because they are really strong against Commonwealth. Unfortunately, he switches targets off of the leader. He would have died if he had kept shooting at it, but he didn't. Luckily, my SDKFZ just moves at the right moment. Back to a 12-12. He's now up to 6 artillery pieces. Oy vey. But my artillery is making a good show for itself. My mortars and Werframen are definitely doing some damage. I'm able to press him off the hill for the time being again. Plenty of infantry back in there. Bring in an 88 mil, which is basically just a flak 88. To actually bolster my A. Unfortunately, my SDKFZ-71 did die to artillery. Did not move it enough. I am bringing up another one. I'm going to post it up here on the hill, so a little closer to the front line. But his artillery is going to essentially keep my infantry pinned here on this hill all the time. Makes it really hard to defend a point when there's 6 artillery pieces bombing you all the time. He's eating through a lot of his supply, though. These things do not have infinite supply because he didn't bring them in with supply. Though I have to assume he brought in quite a lot of support for that. Trying to check the deck list really quick. But unfortunately, I cannot find them at this very moment. Big attack coming in here in the middle of all these field engineers because he brought in that 18 card of them, so he's got them in spades. I was using my SDKZ-71s to aggressively aggress forward to capture this point. Still 13-11. I'm holding on desperately. Doing pretty well. We're at 32 minutes. Spitfire pins down my ersatz troop, and I was trying to sneak some infantry out here to capture this flag. Sturm Pioneers doing their bestest. Doing pretty well, but multiple grenades, and I don't micro out of that building in time, unfortunately. And he did bring in a rifles Piat to kill my SDKFZ-71, which would have done really well holding off all these infantry. Bringing in some more Panzergrens. Spotters are, well, spotted. I would be excited about it, but the leaders are giving radio anyway, so it's not like I've cut off the radio. Werframen coming in now to erase this attack does a pretty wonderful job. Takes out the vast majority of those troops. So feeling pretty good about that. Mortar coming in. I need to kill this 17-pounder. It's killing units that are coming down this road. Unfortunately, it appears it shifted slightly to avoid the majority. No. I called it in the right spot. Just they shooting like crap. And he has now re-put a Sherman up here. And Vickers MGs moving forward. I do have an MG-42, though, which I don't know why it's not shooting. I guess I didn't see them? But that's weird that I wouldn't see those units. Well, between the Panzergren and the MG42, I should have overwhelming firepower here, except for, unfortunately, the Sherman. And, of course, they're going to switch back and forth shooting-wise between the Vickers, which is definitely an issue. Mortars continuing to try to do some work. Panzergren should easily be able to overwhelm this here. Still holding this hill, still 13-11, holding on. Like I said, he does appear to be running... Well, he's got a full one there and a full one here, so he's definitely not out of ammo. He just has to bounce them around. Oh, no, this is coming in with ammo, so he's got plenty. I guess his later artillery came with ammo. Mortar coming in to try to kill this Bofors. He's brought in a lot of leaders to give those Bofors and things some veterancy. Unfortunately, now overwhelmed between the Shermans and the double Vickers. I do have an 88 coming in to cover off some air support down here. Another Panzer IV coming in, but unfortunately I thought this was dead, so it's likely that it'll be able to catch that Panzer IV out. I'm keeping my mortars working, that's for sure. This was very unlucky. My SDKFZ was pinned from artillery, retreated out into the open instead of back towards my own line, which is really stupid. I don't know why it retreated this way. Yeah, it's just out there to die. And this one is going to take it down. That's a big kill because that was my last SDKFZ 7-1. I'm down to these FAMOs here, which, while they're fine, are not that good. Uh-oh, one of them died right here to the 17-pounder. So I basically have no AA right now. Boston comes in to take advantage of that. Jagdpanzer coming up. Should be able to beat any Shermans. This ended up being a nice position here to hold these off. Big attack coming in. This time I'm not nearly as prepared. Sagittario going to chase down that Boston. Should be able to take it down quite easily, and it does. So, excellent for me there. Fortunately, Panzergren surrendered, and my defenses are starting to thin a bit. Maybe I should have moved these guys up, but I don't think a couple Erzatstruppen were going to change the game here. SDKFZ goes down, and this big attack reaches here. I want to move out to try to get this Sherman, but I know if I move out, I'll be instantly pinned by this army of Indian rifles. So instead, call in a bomber. And for some reason, I don't call it out very fast enough, so it's possible I'll be in some trouble. But big hit for me. Takes out two of them, damages another, and pins the last one. I wish I'd moved him out. I guess I didn't notice that it was there. Panzer IV fires and does kill the 17-pounder, but unfortunately, there's also a 6-pounder there. But that is actually out of range, so he falls that back. Panzergren is doing a great job over here of pinning those troops pretty consistently. And unfortunately, the Sherman 5 went on this side, and my Panzergrens ran into the Indian rifle first and not the Sherman. Killing that would have been huge. It would actually reopen this up for me. Jagdpanzer IV in position to do, I don't know what. I'm just running him away so he doesn't die to an AT rifle, an AT grenade or something. These guys are not dangerous. The Gurkha rifles obviously are. And I'm looking very thin. Hurricane comes in, takes that out. Big kill for him. Call in my bomber. Try to, you know, stop this assault here. Bomber basically misses and kills my own dude. Oh man, didn't even see that. That was bad. That was really bad. I wish I had seen how close I could have moved this guy up. I can't see the Sherman at this point. None of these things actually give me line of sight on that Sherman. So, if I had known, I could have just moved this up and killed that quite easily. Panzergrens spot these field engineers. We'll take them out. My supply is basically out. I'll need to bring in another if I want to continue firing mortars and stuff. His artillery is still in full swing over here. Indian rifles pushing forward. The reason why I often leave some troops behind is if things really fall apart, you at least have something to fall back to. The argument being that if you didn't leave those guys back there, maybe you would have not had to fall back. I honestly just kind of forgot about these Erzatstruppen back here, because they weren't doing much anyway. Back to a 12-12. Jagdpanzer in position now. This should be an easy kill for him. Except he's on the hill, apparently. So he's not firing. So I'm moving him forward. Panzer IV does get a shot in. Unfortunately, though, he now has a 17-pounder here, so the Sherman's going to once again live. And the 17-pounder's waiting there for my troops. Panzer IV moves in to make sure that I easily win this fight. Pak 40, putting some fire down on that Indian rifle. Boston coming in here. He's really tired of this Panzergren here. Sagittario. Trying to chase him down. I did kill this Bofors here, so all that's left up north AA-wise is this one over here. That's why he's kind of flying it over top all the way over to here. And now I'm pushed back 13-11. I'm now suddenly on the back foot on the hill again. And unfortunately, I lost all that light armor already, so all the Panzer IIIs and such, lost my fighter here. So, like, brawling with these Shermans is once again really going to be a tough prospect. Drove these guys in way too far. This SDKFZ 7-1 could have been, not 7-1, just SDKFZ could have been a lot more dangerous further back. And Indian rifles are quite dangerous at close range because of both the auto rifle and the Thompson. 14-10 to him. Boston dropping some more bombs. I do bring in an 88. I need to get some sort of AA re-established, but he sends another massive assault here in the middle. And I just don't have much there to respond to it. Panzer IV taking on 17-pounder. I'm sure you can imagine how that would turn out. Crawled back to a 13-11, though. Holding this flag here with a Panzergren and some half-track. Unfortunately, once these Gurkha rifles get into range, they will be able to kill that. Werframen pulling a stunt earlier similar to earlier. Gonna try to stop this assault himself. Let's see how he does. Pretty well. Pretty well. Unfortunately, these guys did get out of range of it, but taking out the leader in a unit, definitely helpful. And now these guys are pinned because of the Panzer IV. Do have some more units coming in. 14-10. I still have the point lead, and I only have to last 9 more minutes here. So I still have the chance. Gurkha rifles getting hit by the Panzer IV. Dangerous spot, to say the least. Artillery coming down. More units coming in to support up top to stay in it. Panzer IV covering the town off. Really important for me. Didn't even notice. Okay, magical sightline. Thank you. Bullcrap. I call it for mine when it's bull. It's bull for him, too. Oh, but he is able to spot my Werframen and kills it with his Hurricane, and another Hurricane kills that. All I have for air cover now is this Focke-Wulf. Not going to do it, though. Oh, that was a loss. That Werframen is doing quite a lot of work. Sucks to lose it that way. Artillery basically instantly pinning my infantry when they come up here now. And now on top of the 40 mils, it's just there's so many 50 cals that every time your plane comes out, it gets like pinned pretty quickly. Ran out of ammo, finally got more ammo for these mortars to try to start using those again. But he has reinforced this, is now 15-9 all of a sudden. My troops cannot move off the corner of this hill now. I lose my supply to this Sherman over here. My units are now in a pretty exposed spot. This side is, I think, a little harder to play on because once you just fall back a little bit, you can't get back in. And I decided to call it quits there because the line is just falling apart. And I'm down on tickets and I have no way of pulling back. And he just seems to have infinite troops at that point. And I call it quits at 43 minutes, essentially. KDs here. You can see I really fell apart KD-wise. I started trading quite poorly. 3,200 to 4,500, basically. GG to Protoss. Great game to him. Let's hop over here. Some kills from him. That 75 mil at the beginning did crazy work. Sherman, every time. Look at this thing. My God. I think this was the first artillery he called in. So many points out of that. So much value. 17-pounder down south, killed a whole bunch of things. I mean, he just got so much value out of every unit. Look at another one of these. Basically, I lost to Shermans, artillery, and 17 pounders. That's what I lost to. Those 3 units, which is what I usually lose to. Again, 17 pounder. A little bit of air. Hurricane did it too, but artillery, 17 pounder. It's just laundry lists of kills for those units. Not much good trading like that for me. Stug 42 did right here. Verframen did get a lot of value out of it. Didn't kill any. I mean, this was a high class kill there. High priority kill. Yeah, 81 mm mortar did pretty well. Otherwise, nah, didn't really use any of my units that efficiently, comparatively speaking. Just died to a lot of that anti-stuff, and unfortunately that's going to end my July monthly tournament run here. Congratulations to Protoss. Very fun series against him. Very exciting to be playing in the semifinals. There will actually be one more match for this where I have to go against whoever the winner of, well, the loser of the other bracket is, to decide who ends up being third in the tournament. I really want to be third because that would be my bronze medal, and that would be the first like medal I have earned in any of the tournaments and stuff, so that would be really, really cool. So best of luck to those 2 guys. Best of luck to Protoss in the finals. I hope he can pick up a tournament win. It's been a long time for him, and I definitely think he deserves one. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button, subscribe, and consider supporting me and joining us on Patreon to get better at Steel Division 2. Thanks a bunch, guys. Have a fantastic day.